All right, week one update for you here. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride to say the least. California was pretty mellow. Left, saw the 10 East only sign, which was pretty funny because it really hit that I'm going on this journey across the US and I'd never ridden a motorcycle further than 6 hours before. So, I mean, I know lots of people have. I haven't, but almost ran out of gas going into Arizona, which was not that fun in 105 degrees, limping it on the side of the highway, but I made it. And then what? Found Jerome, cool little town in the middle of Arizona, and then spent the night in the middle of nowhere. Swam under some saguaro cactuses the next day, kind of only notable deal, and then blasted into Las Cruces, which was cool because I had like really good memories of being there from shooting that movie last fall, and the Oregon mountains. And then next day hit El Paso, which was just too hot to tell what time it was. It was just brutal hot there for some reason. And I was on my way, hit Marfa for 2 nights, got Airbnb just to kind of like check in and chill and just check it out. It's great art, great people, great food, great energy. And I just kind of wanted to feel it out because I'd heard so much about it, and I knew, Giant and James Dean and that whole story of filming out there, and so that was sweet. And then when I got ready to leave, I literally have no plan after Marfa. I mean, I still don't. And basically, long story short, somebody hit me up about going to Arkansas, and I said, sure, Arkansas. Didn't plan on riding through the middle of Texas, I'll tell you that. But so I said yes and took off and just blasted through Texas, and it was surreal. Seeing the juxtaposition and the difference of humanity from an art town in Texas to going across the tar sands. Oh, unbelievable. It just, so flat, and man, just the smell, like the smell of oil hangs in the air to the point that you can taste it, and yeah, it's just a whole different landscape out there. And then cruised through Oklahoma, stayed the night there in the middle of some lake. Some buddy rolled up in the middle of the night on me in my hammock and freaking shined a light in and saw I was there and was bugged out and took off. But then the next day was crazy because going into Arkansas, I freaking got hit by a windstorm by Tulsa that was so gnarly. Get rained on and almost blown off the highway, I felt like. And I'm limping the bike doing like 45 miles an hour because I was literally so scared. I thought I was going to like get blown off the highway. And some dude on like a Harley with freaking like a Sons of Anarchy jacket or something on the back comes by doing probably 90 or 100, looks over at me and just starts swerving all over just in his lane, but leaning into the wind, and then just pins it and takes off. And it was almost like he looked over like, come on, buddy, you can do this. And so I got back on the gas and just started leaning into the wind, and then made it through the storm. But it was crazy. And then got off the interstate and then blasted into Arkansas, and then that's kind of when things got wild. Basically, I guess to back it up, I've never dealt with addiction in my life. I've never had a family member or a friend actively addicted that I knew about. I have friends that have gone through both AA and drug addiction and have moved on, and I've known them since then, and I've talked to them about it. But it's almost like hearing something on the news about fentanyl or this or that, and it's almost not real, And I wanted to get to understand all of America, and I guess in a way it's like, be careful what you wish for because it'll come true. So in Arizona, I get a text out of the blue from somebody, and in the text mentioned that his relationship had fallen apart because he relapsed and has been struggling with addiction to drugs. Somebody I've only kind of been around a handful of times, and I didn't know what to say. Other than I literally didn't know how to help other than getting him in touch with somebody who deals with addiction. And so that's what I did. I said, I can get you in touch with somebody who can get you in touch with a specialist or rehab or something, but I don't know what to do other than that, kind of, and then so that happened, and that was on my brain, and then then I rolled into this town, and ended up staying at this house with this couple I'd never met before, and they were so cool, just such an amazing couple, and they were like, you want to go out to dinner? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I've never been here, and chatting and talking about my journey and coming across, and so they're like, yeah, we'll give you a tour around town, and we have this like great dinner, and we're just chatting about all like life and books and kind of everything, and life in Arkansas and life around the world, and then it got then it went a little sideways on me, and to a way I never expected. But we're going back to the house, and I meet this guy, one of the neighbors, who comes out. He's on one leg and dealing with pain pill addiction, and he has just lost his partner, boyfriend, or husband of 20 years, who was just OD'd. And it was just so crazy, because I'm talking to this guy, and he's just the sweetest, kindest dude, maybe in his 60s, and I hear afterwards that he's still dealing with that, and I was like, wow, that's now the second time that kind of has hit. And then we go back, and I'm talking to this guy about everything from books and life and movies, and then basically I'm getting ready to go to bed, and his partner comes in, and she just throws a bottle of a bunch of prescription pain pills, and it's just hammered wasted. And it was a very awkward situation, and I just was like, man, I'm gonna hit bed. I'm gonna just kind of let things go, and then go to bed. Basically wake up at 2 a.m. to a bunch of screaming, and the next thing I know, cops are in the house. And basically what happened was, it turned to a full domestic, to where the only way to stop her from beating on him was that he ended up having to call the cops. And the next thing I know, I ended up not getting involved, but now again, it's just somebody I guess had relapsed from coming out of rehab recently because of an alcohol addiction. And I was just kind of like being baffled by all of this. In a way, it's kind of still am. And it was one of the heaviest scenarios I've ever heard or kind of been around, to be honest. And it was very humbling to feel and see and hear what's going on in a situation where you can tell how much two people love each other, and seeing and feeling people getting ripped apart by, I guess, addiction. And something I've never been a part of or seen, and then to witness it firsthand was it's unexplainable. And so the next morning, I pack up because I'm hitting the road, and dude, I'm sitting there, I'm kind of planning out where I'm gonna go, and the guy that's cleaning up the property starts talking to me, and he's telling me about how his girl that he used to hook up with fairly recently just OD'd on fentanyl. And and his quote was, man, somebody like her, you never would have guessed. If somebody would have said, like if I would have done it, nobody even would have thought twice, like, oh, that makes sense. And I just was, it's just like heartbreaking to hear that. And it was so surreal, because all these layers and levels of addiction and stuff like that, to see people and to sit down and have dinner with them, and basically just it's just so saddening to see people that are such incredibly kind, loving people struggle so hard, and also to know that I can't do anything with it, but it is humbling beyond belief to witness that go on. I wanted to pop the bubble and see some stuff, and careful what you wish for, I guess. But in a way, I guess my only perspective of it is I'm grateful for seeing and hearing and feeling all of that, because I know that I've always had a great life, and I still do, but when you see and feel something like that, it stopped me in my tracks. I mean, it was really makes me kind of like, it puts in perspective the news, hearing about fentanyl deaths or something like that, and to see and hear of all levels of society doing it. I don't know why it hit me in this moment, but that was 12 hours in Arkansas, and now I'm still here. I'm in Little Rock. Anyway, I took off, and hard to see two people in person get ripped apart. Even though I had just met him, it was heartbreaking to see for both of them. And then it was crazy. Then I went down to the Buffalo River, which is just the most beautiful thing ever, and met this awesome dude, Jerome, and his family out on vacation for 4th of July. And he's talking about, he lives in St. Louis, and then this like other, just two cousins from Kansas City. Man, just like the journey that those guys are on is just like so incredible, and they're just trying to live life the best that they can, and actively doing it. And one of them actually struggled with addiction and then has beat it, and is a year sober. And so I don't know what's going to come next, but it seemed like that first week was kind of like learning about and seeing and feeling what it's like to be, I guess, around, and what addiction means in America, I guess. I have no idea. I mean, that's kind of my only take, but it's not even a take. That's just what happened. And so now here in Little Rock, and I'm kind of just rejoicing. It's raining a little bit, and I'm sorting out the bike, and my bag's ripped off, and so I got some new bags, got them ordered up, and gonna head into Mississippi and see what Mississippi, and I guess wherever else, if anybody has any ideas, hit me up. Let me know. Text me or call me or let me know. So anyway, see you guys.